Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie, and I wanted to hop on here. I actually haven't done a live every single day, mainly because I just want to make sure what I'm saying and what I'm doing is adding value. So I've been thinking about the page. It has been a great, are we on day 4? What is the date today? Happy Friday, whatever the date is, whether it's the 4th or the 5th. I think it's the 5th. But as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? And I had a thought for you today, and it just came to me as I was walking. So first of all, let me know if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I'm sitting outside, and it's so nice out, but sometimes the internet doesn't always work outside. So tell me if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat. I'd love to know. Tell me where you're tuning in from. I want to know this. Here's a question of the day. Are you going to cave to this year, or are you going to create? Cave to me means, I heard it in a podcast. We drove for 6 hours yesterday, and I think it was a podcast, and he said, hey, either A, this year you're going to cave or create. What does that look like? You're going to cave to other people. You're going to cave, and caving to me means giving up. Are you going to give up? Are you going to let life happen to you? Or are you going to create? And if you're in this space where you're already like, man, like the year has already started, I already feel like I failed. You haven't failed, right? But so my husband and I go on a walk every morning, run. We're working on running a 5K. There's a lot of things we've made a shift on right now, on our own personal health. And so, yes, I love it. You're always creating. So we were on a walk and we're listening to this book about money. So it's a finance book. It's an incredible book. When I'm done with the live, I will share a picture of the book in the comments and in my story. So if you're looking to change your finances, if your goal is like, we want to get out of debt, if your goal is to invest, this book is incredible. I'm not an expert. I'm listening. But he said something today that made me go, all right. So my husband and I were talking about money and talking about goals and kind of what we want for our family. And it's interesting because this man said this. He goes, he's like, it's interesting because, we have certain people in our life that we're really close to, right? Family, friends, just people. And for example, he was like, hey, why do you think certain areas of certain people's lives have fallen apart, right? And I told my husband, I said, it's interesting because sometimes you can look at somebody's life and they get so fixated on one area of their life. So maybe they're really fixated on finances in their business, or maybe they're really fixated on health, but they've forgotten about other areas, right? There's an aspect of life to where if you look at your life and you think about a circle, I've talked about this before, right? Your life isn't just work. Your life isn't just your health. Your life isn't just your kids. And if you only focus on one area, what happens? Usually the other ones fall. Now, listen, this is like a twofold. So in life, you can try to have a balance. You're never going to have a complete balance. But what I would say is oftentimes people like focus on one thing and they let everything slide. And so as we were walking today, I said, man, some people, they're so focused on finances, they let their health slip so far. They're not a good steward with their health. Or, they're so focused on their health, they let their family slip so far. Or they're so focused on and they let other parts of their life slip. I'm not saying that you need to have a well-balanced circle in your life, but I said it's interesting because you still have to keep in mind as you're going throughout your days and your weeks and your months and your years, what are the most important things? So, we've seen people financially do incredible and their health is terrible. Well, your health is wealth, or vice versa, or they're so focused on something that their marriage slips. And I was walking this morning and I told my husband, I said, man, it's really working on being a good steward of certain areas of your life. I would say being a good steward of your finances, being a good steward of your health, and I would say being a good steward of your relationships, right? For sure, like finances is your work. Being a good steward of your health and your home, being a good steward of your marriage and your kids, because if you can be a good steward of those things and your finances aren't falling apart and you're seeking input and insight from people that you want to learn from, if your health isn't falling apart and you're seeking wisdom and you're putting in the work, and your marriage and your kids, like your relationships, if you can be a good steward of those three things, right, then there's other things that will just kind of follow along, or you'll say no to certain things. I cannot tell you, just like, nobody's in a place of judgment. You should never judge other people. But people have written books, right? Like if you're watching people for mentorship and you're reading books and you're listening to podcasts, you're going to soon realize that people need to be, they talk about it. Like, hey, I put my finances first, or I was so focused on my kids, my marriage fell apart, or all I was focused on was me and self-care. Like there's an aspect of self-care and there's like, okay, like you're doing a little bit of self-care, too much. So I say all of that because we were walking and I was like, ooh, if I had to put one word to the KetoMOM page, which I want to ask you, do you have a word for the year? This might be a new concept to you, right? Or it might not be. Maybe your word is, so I'm going to go inside because I just lost a bar on my internet. So if it's like, I hate when it's pixely. So let me ask you this question. Have you ever heard of picking a word for the year? And that comes from lots of different people. It comes from, like, our pastor talks about it. If you follow John Gordon online, he has a book about it. And all it is going, what would be one word for this year that you want to focus on? So when you have a day or a moment where you're like, that you're like reels you in, that word. Do you have a word for the year? Yes or no? And if you do, I'd love to know what it is. My word is surrender. I have been a person of like trying so hard to hold on to things and try to like force things to work, getting frustrated about like not really my own agenda. Really my word has been like, I'm going to surrender it to the Lord. Like I'm going to be super prayerful. I'm not going to force doors opened. I'm going to work hard, but I also know that he needs to be our provider, not like working so hard that it's like wrecking other areas of our life. Does that make sense? So, and there's lots to it, but my word is surrender. I would love to know what your word is, and I chose a word for the KetoMOM page because this word stewardship, I feel like is something that can be talked about all year, because I believe that stewardship in the areas of, your finances, being a good steward in your marriage, being a good steward in your health and your family, I think is so important to overall help you have an incredible year, so that one doesn't fall to the wayside, so that you don't end up in divorce, or you don't end up in bankruptcy, or you don't end up with, kids that don't want to see you. Your health, your wealth, right? And your children, your family. And I thought, man, I'm going to put a word to the KetoMOM page, and it's stewardship. And I'm going to kind of be coming back to that throughout the year as we go through different concepts and ideas and things I want to share with you. Is I believe it's super important. So if you choose to participate, or if you want to add in another word to your life, stewardship is the KetoMOM page's word. And we'll be talking about a lot of that. So, that's what was on my heart today. How is everybody doing? If you've got goals set and if you're focused on this year, do you feel like your year has started off well? I had this also, that cave or create. Cave to me is like, Am I going to cave to the world, to other people's opinions? Am I going to cave to just letting life happen? Or am I going to create what I want, what I'm believing for? I'm going to create. So, oh, thank you, Christina. Christina says she loves the word stewardship. So that's what we're going to do here on the page. I know I keep saying I've got some fun ideas, but I actually think I'm finally ready to do some fun ideas. My husband is a visionary. Like, he always is a creator. I'm the action person. So when we come together and do something, it works really well. We just have to decide exactly what we want to do. We have so many ideas, and then there's like too many ideas, right? So I just want to say thank you for tuning into the KetoMOM page. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for adding value. I want to continue to add value into your lives. Oh, my dogs are barking. Hold on. And I'm here to help. So if you've got questions, please reach out. If you need help with, hey, stop it. If you need help with food ideas, if you need insight, if you need a food tracker, like, you guys, I have so many free tools, things to help you on your journey, things to help you understand how to get started, hopefully inspiration to help you achieve the things that you're wanting to achieve this year. So I would love it if you would press the share button. Sharing is caring. If you would tag a friend below and just say, hey, join us as we walk through this new year on the KetoMOM page. The word is going to be stewardship. We're going to be talking about lots of different things, but I'm excited to do this with you. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you very soon. Bye.